Hello. Today, we will solve a question from the TOEFL reading section, focusing on the complete the words question type. We will practice identifying the main idea, tracking key details, understanding cause-effect relationships, and noticing repeated concepts so we can choose the most accurate answer based strictly on the passage. Let's jump right in and master this text about historical trade routes together. If you are enjoying this lesson, please make sure to subscribe to the My TOEFL channel for more tips and strategies. Your support helps us create more content to help you succeed. Let's look at the first sentence of our paragraph. This sentence is fully complete, which is great because it gives us the main topic without any missing information. Read it carefully to understand who or what we are talking about, as this will set the stage for the rest of the text. The ancient Silk Road connected many cities across Central Asia and allowed cultures to exchange goods and traditions. This opening sentence introduces our subject clearly. First, look at the phrase, "The ancient Silk Road connected many cities." This tells us the setting and the main action. We are discussing a historical network that linked different places. Next, notice the purpose of this connection. It allowed cultures to exchange goods and traditions. This is crucial because it prepares us for the idea of trade and cultural interaction. When we encounter missing words later, we should expect them to relate to travel, selling things, or sharing cultural practices. We are going to skip the second and third sentences for just a moment. These sentences have several missing words, and it is much safer to try to fill them in once we have a complete picture of the paragraph. By reading the rest of the full text first, we build a strong context that acts like a map, making it much easier to guess the missing letters correctly when we come back. Now, let's read the fourth sentence. This one is also complete and provides more detail about the result of the travel mentioned earlier. Pay attention to the specific examples given here, as they expand on the main idea. These journeys encouraged cultural exchange, spreading music, clothing styles, and cooking traditions between distant communities for centuries. Here, the text deepens our understanding of the exchange mentioned earlier. We see that these journeys encouraged cultural exchange, which reinforces the positive impact of the Silk Road. The sentence then lists specific examples, spreading music, clothing styles, and cooking traditions. This list confirms that the passage is not just about physical items, but also about lifestyle and art. Understanding this helps us predict that the missing words in the previous sentences might relate to the people or methods involved in these long journeys. Let's finish the paragraph with the final sentence. This part shifts the timeline to the present day and explains why we are studying this topic now. It connects the past events to modern understanding. Modern researchers analyze ancient travel notes and trade records to understand economic cooperation and regional development patterns. This concluding sentence bridges the past and the present. It tells us that modern researchers analyze ancient travel notes to learn from history. The goal is to understand economic cooperation. This confirms that the text is focused on the systematic nature of trade and travel. Now that we have the full story, from the ancient connections to modern analysis, we are ready to go back and fill in the blanks with confidence. Let's look at the first sentence of our paragraph. This sentence is fully complete, which is great because it gives us the main topic without any missing information. Read it carefully to understand who or what we are talking about, as this will set the stage for the rest of the text. Caravans led by Merc. We are given the letters M, E, R, and C, and we need to fill in 5 blanks to complete the word. Let's look at the context here. The sentence mentions caravans led by. We need a noun representing people who would lead a group of travelers carrying goods. The root merc strongly suggests a word related to buying and selling, especially since the previous sentence mentioned exchanging goods. The people who trade goods are called merchants. We are now moving to the second sentence, which has a few missing words. Since we know this sentence describes the action of the caravans, use the context of trade and travel to help you identify the missing terms. Caravans led by merchants tray goods on dusty. We are given the letters T, R, and A, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. Here, we need a verb in the past tense to describe what the merchants did with the goods. Since the text is about the Silk Road and exchanging items, the most logical action is buying and selling. Starting with tra, the word for exchanging goods, is traded. Continuing with the same sentence, we look at where these merchants were traveling. Focus on the physical description provided to guess the location. Caravans led by merchants traded goods on dusty roads and stopped. We are given the letters R and O, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. The merchants are traveling, and the text describes the surface as dusty. We need a noun that indicates a path or way for travel. A common word starting with ro that connects cities is roads. Still in the second sentence, we see that the caravans took a break. Look for a preposition that describes their position relative to the water source. Caravans led by merchants traded goods on dusty roads and stopped B wells near. We are given the letter B, and we need to fill in 1 blank to complete the word. The caravans stopped to use the wells. We need a preposition that means next to or beside. The word starting with B that fits this meaning is by. Now we look at the description of the towns mentioned in the sentence. Think about the historical nature of the Silk Road. Caravans led by merchants traded goods on dusty roads and stopped by wells near desert towns every week. We are given the letter O, and we need to fill in 2 blanks to complete the word. We need an adjective to describe the desert towns. Since we are talking about ancient times and history, a word starting with O that means not new or having existed for a long time is old. We are now in the third sentence. This part focuses on how the guides navigated these long journeys. Think about the tools they might use. Guides used maps carved in. We are given the letters L and O, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. The guides used maps. We need an adjective starting with low to describe these maps. In the context of specific regions or nearby areas, the word local fits perfectly to describe maps of a specific area. This sentence continues to describe the maps. Focus on the material mentioned. Guides used local maps carved in ST to plan. We are given the letters S and T, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. The maps were carved in something. Carved implies a hard, durable material. A common material for ancient inscriptions starting with ST is stone. Now we look at what the guides were planning using these maps. It relates to the main activity of the caravans. Guides used local maps carved in stone to plan trails along dangerous mountain. We are given the letters T, R, and A, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. They used the maps to plan their movement. We need a noun starting with tra, that means the act of moving from one place to another. That word is travel. The guides are planning travel along specific paths in the mountains. Look for a word that means a path or way. Guides used local maps carved in stone to plan travel along dangerous mountain routes, described by a famous. We are given the letters R, O, and U, and we need to fill in 3 blanks to complete the word. We are looking for a noun that follows dangerous mountain. It refers to the specific ways or paths taken. The word starting with ru is routes. Finally, we see who described these routes. Think about the type of person who writes about the past. Guides used local maps carved in stone to plan travel along dangerous mountain routes described by a famous hist. We are given the letters H, I, S, and T, and we need to fill in 5 blanks to complete the word. This person is described as famous and writes about historical routes. The root hist clearly points to a person who studies or writes history. The correct word is historian.